Now, the Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro has fired his health minister following disagreements about how to handle the coronavirus pandemic. For weeks, they have been at odds over the country's response. Luiz Henrique Mandetta has been a keen advocate of social distancing, a measure Bolsonaro has rejected, calling for Brazilians instead to get back to work. The president has now appointed oncologist Nelson Teich as the new health minister. The country has recorded over 1,900 deaths from the coronavirus and more than 30,000 Brazilians have tested positive. Well, let's get more on this now with the journalist Gustavo Ribeiro. He's the co-founder of the English language news site, The Brazilian Report. Gustavo, thanks for coming on. How has the news of this been received in Brazil?
Thanks for having me. Well, overwhelmingly, it has been a negative reaction. Jair Bolsonaro now trusts his political future into the hands of his new health minister, because Luiz Henrique Mandetta was the member of the government with the highest approval ratings. He had twice as much support as the president himself. And now, because of disagreements on how to deal with the pandemic, because Bolsonaro wants to jumpstart the economy right away, Bolsonaro now needs to hope that his strategy will pan out well, because all experts point out that Brazil will see cases and deaths related to COVID-19 skyrocketing in the next few weeks, and that the months of May and June will be the worst 60 days we're going to face in this pandemic. And he's just changing the top health official at the worst possible moment. Nelson Teich has no experience in the public sector, and Brazil's healthcare system is highly decentralized, is extremely complex to manage. He will have to learn the ropes on the job and in the worst possible moment.
Yeah, was it a case that the pair were just so far apart on this issue that it was pretty impossible for them to work together? Because Bolsonaro has frequently played down the impact and the importance and the significance of the virus, whereas his health minister is obviously crying out for him to do the opposite.
Yes, tensions had been brewing, and at one point the health minister just couldn't bear anymore, and he started taking jabs at Bolsonaro via the press. In several interviews, he just poked at Bolsonaro with indirect remarks about the president's conduct. And at one point, he lost the support of Jair Bolsonaro's military counselors, which were because last week, Bolsonaro already wanted to sack him. And generals around the president just convinced him otherwise. And once the minister started defying Bolsonaro publicly, that support went down and the situation was just untenable.
Do you think now we'll see a shift in policy even more towards sort of Bolsonaro's sort of main focus, which is obviously the economy?
It's not clear right now, because Nelson Teich, in his first address as Brazil's health minister, he said at one point that there will be no drastic shift in the Brazilian healthcare policy. But at the same time, he said that he is completely aligned with the president. And as you mentioned, the president does not want social isolation. He wants Brazilians to go back to work. So we just have to wait and see. These first remarks by the new health minister did not tell us much, because he said some obvious things. We need more testing. We need more data on the path of the virus. But he offered no concrete solutions to getting more tests, because Brazil has a shortage of medical supplies. He showed no policy that he is going to put forward right away.
Gustavo Ribeiro, I'm live there in Sao Paulo. Thank you very much indeed for bringing us up to date on a massive story there in Brazil. Thanks a lot for coming on.